Good morning. Do you ever have problems? Kind of a funny question. All of us have problems. Just this week at the church, most of you don't know this, but we had some roof damage and tiles began to fall in the auditorium. Thankfully, we found them when no one was there and we were able to get them fixed. But we didn't get the roof fixed yet. Problems. About a week and a half ago, had a problem at home. Went home on the evening and the temperature was down several degrees from what it had been set at. So I checked and did everything I could and didn't find any problem. And I couldn't find it. I called the heating guy. He came in, charged me $180 and couldn't find the problem. We have problems. All of us have problems. But problems can help us. Let me read you of a time in Jesus' life when the disciples had problems. It's from Mark chapter 4. It's a familiar story. When they had sent away the multitude, they took him even as he was in the ship, and there were also with him other little ships. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full. And he, Jesus, was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow. They awake him, and saying to him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? They had a problem. Big waves. The sea was splashing into the boat. They thought they were going to be overturned. They thought they'd be drowned. Everybody has problems. But I thought about this. I actually read a devotional by John Maxwell that gave me the idea for this. What problems do and what they are in our lives. First thing I think about is this. Problems are reminders. They're reminders when things go well, how badly they could have gone. They're reminders when we have problems that we need God's help. You understand, when problems come into my life that I cannot solve, I'm reminded that I need His help. Everyone has problems. Can you imagine? Our president has problems. In fact, his problems are broadcast all over the news. But each of us has problems, and they are reminders. If we'll let problems be reminders of what God does and what He can do for us, they'll be helpful. Second thing, problems are frustrating. Isn't that right? Now, the reason I say that, they're frustrating, you can't do anything about them many times. But here's what we need to do. We need to respond in the right way. Problems, because they are frustrating, give us the opportunity for God to show through our life that we're responding properly, that we're not overreacting, that we're not being critical of Him or of others when we may have caused the problem ourselves. Problems are frustrating. But this is really what I want to get to today. Problems are a blessing. Problems are a blessing for several reasons. First of all, they help us learn. Some of the problems that I've faced were problems that had to be solved in order for me to accomplish a certain thing. They're blessings in that they help us to solve other problems. Problems also sharpen us. The Bible says in Proverbs 27, iron sharpeneth iron. And the idea is that of a sharpening tool, sharpening a knife or a sword. And it has to be a hard tool. It has to be something that's able to sharpen iron. And the problems that come into our lives often sharpen us. They help us to understand the way to solve a problem. They help us understand God's willingness to help us with problems. Problems can be a blessing. I read in that book by that devotional by John Maxwell about a fellow who wrote this statement. He said, every dog needs some fleas. Now you say, what does that have to do with problems? Well, it's a problem for the dog, but this man had observed that dogs that had fleas would scratch and would be active and try to get rid of the fleas, whereas dogs that didn't have fleas also often were not active. They'd become lazy and even would sometimes have heart problems and die earlier than the ones with fleas. So just like every dog needs fleas, whether that's true or not, that was his statement, every one of us needs problems. Thank God for the problems he brings today. Let him help you solve the problems. Trust him that the problems are there for our good or for his glory. Everybody needs problems. Maybe the wind's going to blow some water into your boat today. Whatever it is, accept it with gratitude. God bless you.